conflict situations. So, what I'm saying is, even if someone reaches out at a stage when the relationship with the girl still formally exists, and we start using certain tools, let's call them half measures, like stirring up her emotions, behaving skillfully during conflicts, and a lot of other things. In other words, these are the tools we use in the process of building relationships. Will her value in your eyes increase? It will. And what will happen later? Later, feeling her privileged position, her strong standing, she will simply distance herself from you. The fear of loss isn't hers, it's yours. And she will definitely take advantage of that. So, what will you do next? So, sorry, it turns out to be a vicious circle, which means we end up repeating the same actions or mistakes again and again without making any real progress. In reality, this ongoing cycle can't bring us any closer to our ultimate goal at all, because instead of moving forward, we just remain stuck in the same place, unable to achieve what we truly want. Maybe there have been cases where this produced some results, but I don't consider this method just another point of view. I believe it simply doesn't work at all. I'd like to mention a few more interesting nuances. First, as a rule, in this kind of scenario, it's recommended to actively showcase your life, your new, interesting life on social media, which in 80% or even 90% of cases is just for show. Well, it looks like showing off, but most men don't actively use social media anyway. And besides, we use social media in a completely different way. So I think it's ineffective. The second nuance, when people talk about changing yourself, like improve yourself so that she comes back to a new version of you, friends, changing yourself is wonderful, but it's not a tool for getting someone back. If we look at the men who come to me, for the most part, these are men who are perfectly fine. I mean, he earns a decent living, he's interesting, he looks good, he works out, everything is just on point. And his wife was with him, let's say, for 5 years. For 4 years, she was in a weaker position, she loved him and invested in the relationship. Then there was a chain of events that led to a switch in their roles, and she leaves having lost interest. Let's think about this logically. Is it about his appearance? What exactly is he supposed to improve about himself? Or is it purely a psychological aspect? Let me remind you that we don't fall in love with the person themselves, but with the image of them in our mind. That image gets idealized. And what is the result of idealization? Significance. In other words, as significance rises, idealization appears, and she falls in love, falls blindly in love. And what happens when significance drops? No virtues at all.